brand new episode here on Sunny Side Up Farms. So today, as you can see, we are out in the David Brown and we are out with the class baler, baling our straw. I've baled and collected the rape field, I think, or canola field is probably a nicer way of putting it. The canola field, and we've done that. I say I've been and collected that as well, just while straw was at a very good price. So I wanted to just get some money in, because you remember from the last episode, I think we had 7,000, I think 779, wasn't it? It was something like that. Yeah, I just needed to get a little bit of money in, because obviously, we don't want to be running out of money in the first few episodes of this save. So now we've got a little bit of working capital now, so we'll be able to buy seeds and we'll be able to sort of buy the things that we need, and also as well be able to get some more chickens, which is going to be good, as I say. And then quite early on, I think I'm not too worried at this stage of the save about saving for machinery and updating. I think the machinery that we've got is more than capable for the amount of work that we've got. So my plan is to try and save some money. There's a few small fields around here that I would quite like to buy. So there's a field, if I just show you, there's a field, so that's our oat field there. The field beyond where those trees are, along there's a wheat field there. Now that's not our field at the moment, but I think that's an affordable field that we should be able to go out and get. And then directly just sort of over there somewhere is another field, again not huge in expense nor size, and it's another realistic field that we can farm at the moment. So they're sort of our priorities, because obviously, if we want more chickens, we need more wheat. If we need more wheat, we need more land. Because I still want to grow the rape and the oats, and probably even soya beans. Now, for those of you that have been watching the channel since I've started, if I'm on a map that doesn't have peas, then I use soya beans as harvestable peas, because obviously we don't have a pea viner anyway. But so even on a map where I do have peas, I have to they're combinable peas, or dried peas as we call them. Yeah, as I say, that's what I might do, but I won't be all out for soybeans, because it is a little bit of an easy way to make lots of money very quickly. But every now and again, might just have a field just one year, if like I say, this coming year that we're in at the moment, with the start of the new season sort of coming. Once we get the baling done, we'll be ploughing, and then we'll be sort of into next season then. I might do a field of soybeans just to get us a bit of capital, just to get us just going a little bit, because otherwise, and I find, because I'm sort of I've got this as a YouTube thing, and as another sort of private game that I've got on the Oaks at the minute. I'm doing it's very different to what I'm doing here, but it's on a similar kind of scale, to kind of sort of see how long it does actually take if I was to do it absolutely to the letter. Yeah, it does take a while, so it's just to make sure that we keep moving, and because we haven't got long till 25 comes out now. So it's on the one hand we want to enjoy it, on the other hand we need to sort of get a bit of a move on, in terms of getting the save where I want it to be. So just every now and again, a little cash boost will just help us. And to be fair, I mean, it won't be long before we're producing eggs, and then we'll be selling them, and from eggs, we'll look then to get another animal commodity. So whether it be sheep or pigs or whatever. I think the dairy's a little out of our reach at the moment, but that is certainly a long-term aim, as well as building the farming business. And eventually these David Browns and stuff will have to go, but not for the very foreseeable future, because as I say, it's they'll do more than a good enough job for now. And the same with my little combine. I might upgrade my little combine, but that might be the first thing that I upgrade. So I might upgrade that to a Dominator or a Mega or something like that, just so as we've got a tad more capacity coming out of the combine. But yeah, otherwise, as I say, I've no real need to change things at the moment, machinery wise, and plus as well I'm really enjoying using them. So I have, for those of you that maybe have got this David Brown in your mod folder and say, well, actually, I don't know how you're getting it, because mine won't pull trailers, especially full. This one obviously was the same. So I have in the XML of the tractor, I have made a little tweak to the tractor. So I've not changed none of the sort of horsepower outputs or anything like that. The tractor is still as the tractor was when you downloaded it. But what I have changed is the torque and the RPM. Now, giving the tractor obviously more torque gives it more drive. Changing the RPMs means that the tractor does run a little bit more higher, RPMs, but it means that we can actually access the 19 mile an hour that this tractor goes with a full trailer. And that's just so that, because otherwise what I was finding was when I first sort of tried it out, this David Brown, I was sort of playing again on was on the Britain's map. I had my Britain's game, but I also had like my own private game on there, and I was using the David Browns and stuff. And it was like, watching a David Brown with a very small trailer on the back that was full, probably about 10,000 litres of wheat or whatever crop in there, and its top speed was like 3 miles an hour, and it was like I couldn't work it out. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know they're no fast track, but they're definitely quicker than 3 mile an hour, mainly because on the first farm that I worked on, which is obviously what this save is based on, we used to use the David Brown 996 all the time. It pulled the combine header around, it pulled rolls, although when we moved up to 6 metre Cambridge rolls, it did stop rolling. But when we were using the old-fashioned gang rolls, it did all of the rolling. We used to put cage wheels on it, and it used to do all the rolling. But as I say, we then moved up to 6 metre Cambridge rolls, and the tractor, it would pull them, but they were a little bit heavy for it. She was an old girl, and she'd worked hard in her life, and I don't think she appreciated the one day that I put them on there. I put dual wheels on the back as well to try and help with obviously some grip and traction and everything, but the tractor didn't like that. So I think I did about a quarter of a field, and I just thought, nah, I'm not doing this because it's going to break this tractor. And so I I went back and changed it for the 6210 John Deere, and they used to pull those rolls absolutely spot on. Just the right tractor for them. It was beautiful, really nice smooth job. But yeah, a little bit much for the David Brown. So excuse me. So yeah, but so this is the plan for today. We get this baled, get that one baled, and then we will get, hopefully, I'm hoping that because I'm going to do all of this baling, all the rest of this baling now in time lapse, I'm hoping that it won't take all that long to do, and I'll be able to then get on with, and the other job that we'll be doing is collecting bales. The other David Brown that's on at the moment, taking the oats from the farm to the train station for them to be sold a little bit later today. We've got the oats to take there, and we've also got the canola to sell there as well. And as soon as the baling's done, I'll put this tractor onto a trailer, and this tractor can help the other David Brown by carting the crops to and from. I'm trying to get it done before it rains, but if I can't, if it starts raining while I'm baling, I'll stop baling, and we'll put, as I say, this tractor on a cart, and it can help with taking the crop to the train station, and we'll get the telehandler, and we'll put the bow, hopefully the bow trailer will go on the back of it, and then if not, I have got another tractor. It's a bit overkill for that job, but it will do. And we'll get a tractor on the trailer, and we'll start loading these bales up, and then taking the bales to sell, because the sell point for the bales that we're selling, and we're selling all of these bales, we don't need them for the chickens. So yeah, so we'll, as I say, we'll we'll load them up, and then we'll, as we get loads, obviously we'll just take them down there and sell. So lots to be getting on with. I mean, that field now in front of us is cleared, so even if we didn't want to do any sort of more work to the bales, we could get the big David Brown on the plough, and we can you know, go and do some ploughing in that field. That's no bother either. So the David Brown that I've got is the David Brown that they had, so it's this exact model that they had. According to the dealer where we got them from, or where the farm got them from, because they got them obviously when I was a kid. All of these tractors are from the 80s when I was growing up, and the farm's got rid of pretty much most of them. The only David Browns they've got left now, and they're still using, is the 996, which is what this one's based on. I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but this looks exactly like the David Brown 996, but for some reason it's got a 1210 sticker on it, but it's the 996 for me. If I remember, and I don't always remember, I say this and then I don't always remember, and it's only when I watch the videos back a few weeks later and I think, I didn't do that. But if I do remember, I will try and put a picture up of the 996 and show you, because this tractor, I when I first started on the farm, I drove the David Brown 996 a lot because I didn't have my own tractor at the time. The tractor that I was eventually going to be taking was still being used by the person that was at that point still working for the farm, but he was retiring in the November, and I was due to take over his job, but he was obviously training me up, because you know, before that, apart from my couple of weeks ploughing that I did for the farm, you know, I hadn't worked on a farm, you know, and so you know, experience was very limited, and I didn't need training, and so yeah, you know, luckily he was there, but until he left, I didn't have a tractor, so I was on the 996 a lot, pulling the combine header around. We had a little side mower that went on it. I did that. What else did I do? I harrowed some grass. It was kind of, and then when I wasn't on the 996, I was on the other David Brown, which I told you in one of the previous episodes. I had the dike mower on the back of it, and I'd go out and mow the dikes. You know, as the combines was in the field, or combine, because we only had one. You know, as it was out in the field, you know, I would be going around the headland, you know, cutting the dikes and cutting down the dikes and the banks and everything, and yeah, that was my job really that first year. I did do a little bit of grain carting and stuff, just to, you know, sort of have a practice. By the time I'd got there, because I started on August 13th, by the time I got there, because it had been a really hot summer, they'd virtually finished wheat harvest. Yeah, so they'd virtually finished. So it, you know, it meant that there wasn't a great deal to do, and because they were nearly finished, they weren't under pressure You know, they weren't trying to catch their tail. You know, they were well in front. Because traditionally it was the reason why I started on the 13th was because that was when they started wheat harvest. But I'd say because it had been such a hot summer, you know, they were virtually finished, all of the harvesting, you know, by the sort of middle of August, unheard of. But so yeah, it was a case of, you know, we're not in a rush. We've got time to teach you, you know, a bit of time for you to make mistakes and stuff. So that's what I did. But anyway, I've chatted on far too long, so I'm going to flip over to some time lapse. Like I say, if it does start raining, I'll probably go off and do some ploughing just so as we have a little bit of a variety of job in this episode. But it does mean we'll have to go down to the store because, oh yes, this is a warning that I would like to give everyone. Now, it does say this on Farmer Briscoe's Ichio or Ich, whatever that website is called. I don't know how to pronounce it, but on the home page of the Vintage Oaks, it does say on there, do not cut down any of the oak trees. Now, I recorded the last episode, which went out obviously a week ago, and after I'd finished recording, I thought, well, I'll do a little bit of combining in that field, just get in front a little bit, and then I'll be all ready for the next episode. Now, one of the tractors got stuck on one of the trees, so I took the tractor away from the tree and everything was fine. The next time the trailer was full, the other tractor got stuck on that tree, and so it was the same tree. So I kind of sort of thought, this is obviously a tree that's going to be in the way for most operations on the farm, you see, on the map. So I thought what I'll do is I'll get rid of the tree, thus problem solved, and then if I'm recording, it doesn't look rubbish. Alright, deleted the tree, quit the game, went off, did something else because I had to do a few little jobs. Came back, thought what I'll do is I'll also get on with a little bit of a few other things that I need to get on with on the map. You know, ready for recording, as I say, the next episode. And the game wouldn't load in. And anyway, after being sort of kind of like, oh no, you know, what am I going to do, you know, I then went on to the Itch.io or whatever site it is, and of course in big block capital letters, do not cut down the trees. And I was like, that's what I've done. So I had to reload it all in and then redo it all. So I had to recatch myself. Excuse me. I had to recatch myself up. So yeah, it. As I say, don't cut down the trees. That's the best bit of advice that I can give you. Don't even use the hide object mod, because that was what I used to get rid of the tree, and that had the same effect. So just don't get rid of the trees. I don't know whether it's the same for all trees, but that was an oak tree, and apparently that was what was important. But I don't know if it's for all trees. I just won't be removing any trees. I'll just have to keep digging tractors out of trees. That's, you know, that's the only way around it. So yeah, that's I had to start again. So a lot of the stuff is still at the store. Just because, like I say, I was sort of trying to catch up, ready for recording this episode. So there you go. I've let you into my secret now. But that's why everything's at the store and not at the farm as it was. But as we go down to the store, what I might do is, again, if I remember, and I've got a terrible memory, I'll cut back in and I'll just quickly run through some of the equipment that we've got. But everything that you see there, if I do forget, is everything that the farm had. The Dadswell plough that I've got, the 6-throw Dadswell plough, is again a plough that the farm had. The only difference with that one to the one that was on the real farm is that the real farm one was offset, whereas this one isn't, because the one on the real farm went on the back of a Track Marshall 95 crawler, which my granddad used, and as a little boy in the 80s I used to ride for hours and hours and hours and hours with my granddad on that little yellow crawler. And when I got to eventually in 2000, so that was in the 80s. So in 2007, I started there, August 13th, 2007. And I said to my boss, I said to Anthony, I said, one ambition I've got on this farm. And he went, yeah. I said, I want to do some ploughing with the track marshal. And he said, we haven't got the plough anymore. And so I said, well, you'll have to get one then. And I sort of said it tongue in cheek. And about a year later, I think the following year, because I'd sort of taken over doing most of the ploughing on the farm, because I really enjoyed it. And it seems that, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet here, but you know, I'm quick enough to criticise myself when I can't do things. So I should be just as quick to praise myself when I can do something. It seems that I am quite good at ploughing, and yeah, I got to work one Friday, and well, it was unusual to work Fridays because there wasn't really sort of, it was only just over 1,000 acre farm, and so there wasn't always that much to do. So Fridays, you know, I'd have a day off. It'd be unpaid, but you know, sort of Emma liked it because it meant I got to spend the day with her, because her day off was on a Friday. So I got to spend the day with her, and you know, we could sort of go out and do whatever. And you know, I mean, obviously if we were busy, you know, I'd be working, but if you know, if the farm was quiet, you know, I wouldn't. But yeah, so one Thursday night, he said to me, he said, oh, I want you in to work tomorrow. And so I said, all right. He said, yeah. He said, I need a hand with something. So I said, okay. And I thought I was going to be with the sheep or with the cows or something, like, you know, sort of the stuff I wasn't really that interested in. So I said, yeah, okay, fair enough. So goes into work on the Friday morning, and we're sort of like messing about doing sort of a lot of nothing. And I'm so I got to like 11 o'clock, and I thought, you know, what was the point of me coming in? We've like literally moved a few little bits around. Well, I'm not being funny. He could have done that by himself. You know, I thought, like, you know, like, what was the point anyway? So, because I didn't pack no lunch with me, because I thought, well, I'll be going home at lunchtime anyway. So I thought, so I said to my boss, I said, oh, I'm gonna have to go home for my lunch. And he said, yeah, no problem. He said, see you at 1. So I said, at 1? He said, yeah. He said, you can have longer a day. He said, see you at 1. So I said, he said, I won't be coming back from my lunch until sort of 1 quarter past. So he said, as long as you're there for quarter past, I don't mind. So I said, all right, fair enough. So anyway, I came back at quarter past. I think I got there for about quarter past 1. Or was it? I think I don't know. It was either quarter past or 20 past. If it was the time when it was 20 past, when after he'd said, and he goes to me, he goes, "Oh, you're 5 minutes late," and I said, "Yeah, I had a late lunch." But yeah, no. So I got there, and he was like, he goes, honestly, he goes, it's well worth you being in. So I said, right. He said, right, this afternoon. So I said, yeah. He said, I want you to take the David Brown 996. I said, yeah. He said, put the little low loader on it. I said, right. He said, go down to the other farm. I said, yeah. He said, and back the David Brown and the low loader into the workshop. I said, right. He said, and then we need to move a few little bits and pieces from that workshop back down to here. So I said, oh, okay, fair enough. So anyway, it goes and does it, and with the sort of the first summer I was there, the first winter I was there, and a little bit of the spring, we were repairing the track marshal because it sort of it hadn't been used for years and years and years. It just been sat at the back of the workshop, and like I say, it didn't start, and a lot of it had seized up and what have you. And I know nothing about mechanics, but you know, slowly but surely, sort of began to learn a few bits, and the boss sort of helped me with some as well. Anyway, gets down there. So there was a note on because and I'm pretty certain Anthony knew I would go and have a look at the track marshal. And when I got to the track marshal, there was a note on the track marshal that just said, "Please put me on the trailer and take me back home." Um, so I was like, really? I thought, so I rang him just to make sure, because I thought, I don't want to load all that up, get it down there. And he goes, what the hell are you doing? So I rang him, and he said, yeah. He said, I want that back here. So I said, okay, fair enough. So anyway, I loaded it all up, and went and took it back down to the main farm. And he said, right, he said, I want you to put it on parking lot. So I said okay, which basically was a big grass area where we used to park the tractors and combines and that in the summer when we were working, so we didn't have to put them away, but it was secured. It was a locked parking lot sort of thing, but it was a big grass area. And so I said okay. So he said go put it in there. He said take it off the trailer as well. So I said okay. So I went down there, went in there, and there sat an absolutely gorgeous, nearly mint DP6 offset reversible plough. And he came down there in the truck and he said, right, I want you to put that plough on the track marshal. So I said yeah. He said, and then I want you to go and plough the 50-acre field. And I was like, really? And he was like, yep. He goes, that's what I want you to do. He said, you'll be in today and tomorrow, no doubt. He said, or you can leave it till Monday, or it's up to you. So I said, no, I'll have a go now. So I got it on there, and they got the fuel bowser as well that my granddad used to pull around with the little 885, and they had the fuel bowser in the little parking lot on the 885. They had the 996 that used to pull the low loader and the crawler, and they used to have the plough on the back of the crawler on the low loader because it didn't have no ramps. It just had like blocks of wood, and it used to obviously sort of climb the wood to get up onto the trailer. And yeah, so I for that ploughing year, I did all of my ploughing with the track marshal and the 6/4 offset reversible Daswell plough, and honestly it was like the best time of my life. It was absolutely fantastic. But anyway, I really have now waffled on too long because I've nearly got this field finished, so I'm going to switch over to some time lapse. Thanks for listening, and if you get to the end, I'll talk to you then. Bye for now. And I'm back. So after my little adventure, we are back in the field. Actually, I know what I was going to do, because I forgot to do it when I said I was going to do it, so we'll do it now. As I say, I've still got those bales obviously to collect, but I'll do the majority of that off camera, just because I don't want to bore you all to tears. And not only that as well, but as you've just seen, I have a tendency to get lost. Honestly, I'm like that in real life. Like I say, it doesn't matter where I go, I'm terrible. And the thing is, I got a sat nav in my car, it's built into my car, but it's not been updated for, getting on for about, I don't know, anywhere from sort of 5 to 10 years. And there's a lot of roads around where I am, because the sort of Norfolk is being massively developed, and Lincolnshire as well. There's a lot of roads on my sat nav that don't even exist. So but either by the fact that the new roads have gone in, or roads have sort of kind of not necessarily been taken out, but been made more sort of private, and you can't always go either the full length or down them, whatever. So yeah, I tend to get lost. But what I was meant to do was, I was meant to, when I went and picked this forklift up and the trailer, I did say I would do a little bit of a machinery tour. So when we went back to the farm, you obviously saw where I put the baler and where I got the trailer from. So that shed, when you load the game in, isn't actually there. I've put that shed in myself, just for a little bit of storage, for machinery and stuff. And then I don't know whether you've seen it or not, to be fair, but the combine's in the silo shed, and then alright, so here we are, and that's where all of the tractors and stuff are going to go. Right, so we'll start off with this one. So this one, I've this one says this is the 996, and with the longer bonnet, it's more like the 885. So, as I say, it's the numbering on these David Browns is not quite right, but it's not far off. But yeah, so they had the 885, and on the farm, what I used to do was put the hoe on. I used to hoe all the sugar beet with this, and it was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. No radio, no aircon, no nothing. You with your doors open, with string tied to the exhaust pipe, so that the air passed through, taken the glass out of the back so that the air could go through that way, just so as you could try and keep cool. The seat in there, actually, if we sit you can see it. So the seat looked nothing like this. So the seat was like a red solid seat, that the back of the seat was shaped the same sort of shape roughly as your bum and your lower back, and you sat on there. I used to so from home I used to take, we had an old settee that we threw away, but we kept the cushions, and so I used to take a settee cushion with me and put it on there, because bugger was it hard to sit on all day. But yeah, so this is let's say the door's tied back to the exhaust pipe, and every sort of, I don't know, sort of every probably year and a half, you would have to change the string, because the exhaust pipe would burn through it. So you'd be driving along and suddenly the door would slam shut, because the string had been burnt off. But yeah, that was what we used to do with that one. So that was, as I say, the little 996, but it was an 885 on the farm. It wasn't a 996. And then we had this one. Now this, although it's the right numbers, it is ever so slightly different to the one that we had. As I remember, the one we had didn't have that bit. So I'm guessing that this bit here was on the American version, maybe, because that bit was actually up on the cab. not on the cab, on the bonnet, sorry. But yeah, with the red wheels, which again was unusual because a lot of them had the white wheels, but the one that we had on the farm was red wheeled. Obviously 3-point linkage, and yeah, so about 300 horsepower, I think that is. So to go with it, we bought a 4-meter cultivator, 3-meter power harrow to go on the back of one of the David Browns, 6-meter drill. Now, the drill, so in real life, what they did was they made a frame very similar to that, and they actually welded 2 3-meter. I don't think they were Cavervland. I can't remember the name of them. Oh, no, the name of them's gone. They weren't Cavervland, but they were shaped like that drill. But they basically got two 3-meter drills and welded them into one drill. So it had 2 hoppers just like that, and the pipes going down either side and what have you. So it was just like that. So, like as I say, the fact that a long time ago when I saw the mod, it was like, blimey, I didn't think that was a real thing. I always thought that that was something they'd concocted themselves. And I went off back to the farm, and I asked the boss, the boss man. I said, like, did the farm build this or did you buy it? And he went, no, we built this. He said, but you can actually buy them. He said, but we built our own off, the real one. We basically hired the real one literally so we could copy build it. So I don't know why they didn't just buy the real thing, but there we go. I suppose it's money and everything like that. But yeah, so that was what they had, and then this was the Dad's 12.6 for a plough. But like I say, the one they had on the farm was offset to go on the back of the track Marshall, and it did also used to as well go on the back of there as well. So because they had, I'm fairly certain they had 2. If I remember correctly, they had an inline one and an offset one. And obviously that tractor had the inline one. But if the crawler wasn't using that, if the crawler was mole ploughing or whatever, then the offset one would go on there, because obviously that sort of tractor would prefer to plough on top really than in the furrow. But yeah, so as I say, this is the stuff they had. But I was going to use a crawler that looked a little bit like the track Marshall that they had, but it with this plough, it wouldn't have looked right. And the reason that a lot of farms had the crawlers with the offset ploughs was so they could plough on top. Just because with the metal tracks you would pretty much never lose traction. And so that was what they would do. And if they were in the furrow, they were very hard to keep straight. Because I tried ploughing in the furrow with the one that they got me, and it was very hard to keep it straight. Because the plough they bought me was an offset and inline, so you basically had like it would sort of swing out, but it had a swivel headstock on, so a turning headstock, because otherwise you'd just shear it clean off. So I had a swinging headstock, and on the back there, where the control box was with the pipes, you could then manipulate the pipes to control either the swing on the plough or whatever, and you could pull it in line or you could have it offset. So yeah, that was what it was. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it, and as I say, I had a good laugh watching me trying to load bales, because we all know how bad I am. I think I have probably gonna stick to keeping the bale fork to 1 bale at a time, because that was a little bit easier to manage than 2, because they were getting stuck. Farming sim doesn't do friction very well. Well, it sort of kind of doesn't do it very well, but then overdoes it. So then what happens is you get too much friction and bales weld themselves to the forks and you cannot get them off. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was not a job I was that good at in real life. So, you know, as well as it being sort of farming sim physics, it could also be me as well. So, yeah, you know, I think it's I think it's probably 50-50. It's farming sim, sort of not bothering with physics and friction and stuff like that, and also as well the operator's not that grand either. So, you know, as I say, probably a bit of both. But as I say, I'm going to struggle on through. I'm not going to make you sit through all that. And then next episode, if I haven't quite got all the bales done, I might get this field done half of the next one. So we do a load of bales, and then the next job will be us ploughing. So something a little bit different, and you know, something more to look forward to. But anyway, if you haven't done already, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Really helps the channel, really helps me. And all that's left for me to say is thanks ever so much for joining me on this video. I've really enjoyed having your company, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one. Bye for now.